Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Frank, Stevie and Craig with us. A lot of questions about Kepa, saying, with all the pressure looming and possibly Mendy on his way, what's going on in Kepa's head when he concedes a goal that's entirely his error? By the way, Frank Lampard after the game said, I'm happy with Kepa. Kepa is here and he is our keeper, Craig.
Yeah, well, he has to... I suppose.
He's playing the trombone, Stevie.
I suppose he's playing the keep it clean in public strategy until he can get him out, because clearly he's not happy with him, and he knows it's another mistake. Now, it didn't cost him, but the first thing I looked at was his position, and as Stevie said in the show, we don't really. I mean, if you should ask Shaka about it, but it looked to me as if he was so far over to the left that even though he should have maybe still saved it, he was nowhere near the middle. I mean, he was never going to get beaten at his near post, the position he was in. He could almost have put his left arm out and touched that left-hand post. So, yeah, just to stop beating about the bush, Lampard just doesn't fancy him.
Stevie, as an Everton fan, I should know better than to get excited about the coming season, shouldn't I? Thoughts on what Everton could feasibly challenge for this campaign?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's only one game, but it was impressive. You know, the three players, Doucouré, Allen and James, I thought all made a huge difference to Everton. I mean, they were free flowing. They created chances. If Richarlison was a better finisher, then this game would have been a lot more comfortable than it ended up being. So it's only one game though, and there's question marks over Allen and James. You know, whether they last the pace, how many games they'll play, will they stay fit? But if these three new signings can all stay fit and healthy and play a season, then they've got to be looking at absolutely #1, getting in the top 10, because they were outside of that. And then after that, battling for what, top 6? Because on the evidence of the game at Tottenham, they're capable, no question.
How excited should Everton fans be, Frank?
They should be excited. I mean, it's true that, as Stevie said, it's only one game, but with lots of promises. The way they played, the way they handled Tottenham is good for the future. We don't know yet, you know. I didn't put them in the top 6 because James at the time and maybe Alan also didn't sign at the time you asked me that. But yeah,
sure they can reach
that. They
both signed by the time you gave us predictions, Frank. Don't give us that.
No. I don't think James did. But I still believe for me that they won't finish in the top 6. But they can be top 7, and I think it will be a good beginning of a new era for the Toffees.
Suggestions, meanwhile, that Manchester United are looking at Gareth Bale if they can't get Jadon Sancho, which leads us to, is Gareth Bale a good option, Craig, for United, given that he possesses the talent and class they so desire, but has a less than favourable injury record?
Well, that's where United would have to size it up in terms of the fee and the wages and the structure of the deal. But a fit Gareth Bale, and a Gareth Bale who wants to get, you know, back playing to the standards that we know he can, then yes. I mean, it's not the ideal scenario if they want Jadon Sancho, because you're buying a player for around a decade or so, or you've got a sellable asset if he wants to move. So that's the scenario. But if you want results now and you can structure a deal and he's fit, then he's a match winner. It's as simple as that.
Worth the gamble, Stevie, for a player who's hardly played for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the money,
it'll be a lot.
Listen, he has a history. Yeah, I'm not so sure. You know, when I hear of a player who has decided to go to China and play out the rest of his career, it makes me think that burn and the desire and the fire in your belly's not really there. You're taking like the easy way out. It's a lot of money. So I just wonder. Listen, I don't know Gareth Bale. But I just question anybody who kind of decides that their career's pretty much done. I've won enough. I've got plenty of money. I'll go and get some more, and I'll go to China. That doesn't sit well with me.
It's quite, Dan, it's quite simple. That's what I think anyway, Stevie said. If it's silly money, the answer's no. If it's not, and it's not going to burn the house down, then it might make common sense for a couple of years. But if it's silly money, and you said it might be, but I don't really see how it will be. And if it's not, it might be something worth thinking about.
It's all about the wages, isn't it, Frank? Of course, one of the highest paid players in the world, Gareth Bale. Manchester United would be asked to pay a lot of that. I imagine if Real Madrid were going to let him go, if you're United, would you do it?
No, I wouldn't. I would have a big discussion. Maybe I will have a big discussion with Gareth Bale. I want to know what he has in his brain, what he wants to do for the rest of his career. If it's just about earning money, no, don't come to my club, because we have we have hopes, we have goals, and it's not only about money. And you will have to make an effort, because your wage is too big, is too high for the player that you have been and you became. And it was maybe good to give you that amount of money when you were playing and you were at the top at Real Madrid, but it's not the case for the last 2 years. So I don't think Manchester United should go for that type of player if he only comes and keeps his wage and doesn't really express what he wants to do for Man United.
Stevie, where would you rank Raul?
Alexis Sanchez hasn't done him any favours.
No, that's very true. Stevie, where would you rank Raul Jimenez amongst the strikers in the Premier League? Lovely goal today.
Oof. Do you know, if I'm a centre-back and I'm looking at the opposition, he's one of the players I don't want anything to do with, because he never stops. His movement's great. He's strong. I mean, right now he's doing everything. He's doing Robbo's favourite. He's running in behind as well, and he's scoring goals. So, absolutely, he's got to be up there amongst the best centre forwards in the Premier League. No question.
It's not really a debate, is it, Craig?
No, and that's why a few of the bigger clubs don't want to be disrespectful to Wolves, who've got a good team, but that's why a few of the so-called bigger clubs were looking at him and are still looking at him, and he's just continued that on from last season. But as Stevie said, he's physical, he runs the channels, he links up, he's good in the air, and his finishing's been excellent. So, no, absolutely, he's up there in the top, 5 or 6 strikers. I mean, you got Harry Kane, you got Firmino, you got Aguero, Aubameyang, Werner.
He's better than Firmino, isn't he?
Oh, steady on.
Whoa. What do you mean steady on?
I mean, what a stupid thing to say that is.
Why?
Roberto Firmino's been one of Liverpool's best players and he didn't finish his season in terms of his finishing last season well. But Roberto Firmino's link-up play and understanding of the game and bringing other players in has been incredible for Liverpool. He had a quiet couple of months at the end, and you've got him in the trash can already.
I'm going him in the trash can, but I think Raul Jimenez or Firmino. Who are you going for first, Stevie?
Raul Jimenez is a completely different player.
I'm going for Firmino.
Stevie, tell him.
Yeah, just Firmino. Of course you do.
No, Dan. All the names.
It's because he's not had a good spell. He's not had a good spell, right? But before his bad spell, he was absolutely fantastic. So,
all the names that Craig named, just before, on the top striker that we have. The first that I will buy if I'm a chairman is Firmino, because he can score, he can serve, he knows football, and he's the best player from far away, comparing to the others.
Frankie, Dan Thomas, he's just been destroyed. He's got nowhere to turn now. In fact, I would be surprised when we cut back that he's still in that chair. Oh, he's still there.
Yeah, he's still here.
So good he was. Klopp desperate to get Timo Werner in. There we go. What
that was to add to the squad, Dopey.
What do I know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was so desperate he didn't bother. Yeah,
because he didn't get the money.
Is that your comeback?
The ball
is that your comeback? Is that it?
Stevie, he's gone, Stevie. He's done. Hey,
Frank,
by the way, Timo Werner's not...
Go on, Stevie. Go on.
The season's just started.
Go on,
Stevie, and he's got custard pie all over his face already.
You can't argue with somebody who comes up with a statement that you gave just two minutes ago. How can you argue with somebody when they don't know what they're talking about? So it doesn't really matter what you say. They're not going to get it.
Leave them. Leave them. Cut this extra time now.
That's
Dan,
it.
you're a punter.
I'm a punter. I know nothing. I know. I'm sorry.
You tell the producer.
Just ask the question.
Cut this bit out.
Bobby Firmino, greatest player in the world.
Here he is.
Clearly.
There he is. Look.
Frank, take it into consideration.
PSG's
poor
He's still digging it out.
Oh no, whoa. You keep on talking. Tell me.
Keep digging.
Frank, we're taking into consideration PSG's poor start to the campaign and Lyon's great run in the Champions League. Do you agree with Denier that Lyon have the squad to win Ligue 1?
No, because when I see the Paris Saint-Germain squad and when I see Lyon squad, it's the differences of level. The level is so high with Paris Saint-Germain. Of course, they are struggling right now, but they're going to come back and they're going to win easily again the Ligue 1. Lyon is a promising team, but if they lose some like 2 other players, it's going to be complicated. It was complicated last year when they lost Ndombele and another player, midfield player. Try to remember his name. It's been complicated. They haven't been replaced. They had a good end of the season, but the Champions League, the last 8, it was particular. I don't think Lyon would have gone that far if the Champions League would have carried on, like he should have done. So Lyon is a good team, but Paris Saint-Germain is much better.
I remember the Lyon midfielder, but I'm not going to tell you because you're mean to me. Did you guys have any trouble communicating with your international teammates during the game, since people tend to speak in their native language in the heat of the moment? Craig, you've played with quite a few internationals from all around the world.
Yeah, ask Frank. Frank quickly understood the native language. It's not repeatable.
Just swearing, yeah, Frank? Just that's all it was.
Well, that's the thing. When you play with Dennis Wise, you have to learn the first bad words, that you all say in English, and that's what it is, And Gianluca Vialli and Craig could to say a story another time, about what Dennis Wise taught him, and they kept on repeating before knowing what he was saying. In fact,
But I think the thing is, Dan, we're the ignorant ones, because not everybody, but most of the guys can speak a fair bit of English, coming from most of the countries. I mean, Gianluca and Gianfranco Zola couldn't, and Roberto Di Matteo could. Frank could speak a fair bit, if memory serves me right. The problem came in, like say, Dmitry Karin came in about 92, 93, the Russian #1 goalkeeper, and he couldn't speak a word, which is totally understandable. So that was quite difficult from a perspective of communication during the game, particularly with the defence. But I would say 99% of the foreign guys can generally speak enough good English to understand.
Stevie, when you get angry,
the thing is, what you have to do, Dan, when you first come and you're French or you're from whenever, you have to learn the first words, like turn, like manon, like and it has to become a reflex, to make sure you say it and you say it properly to be understood by everybody. That's the first thing that you have to learn.
Stevie, when you get angry, you get extra Scottish. Were you aware of that when you were at the Revs, that you had to maybe calm down, slow down, so they understand what you were saying?
Not until it was too late. Well, because you lose it.
Well, you're talking to a man, Daniel.
Yeah.
You're talking to a man that's had many hours of elocution lessons. I mean, he even used a word on the show that he doesn't know the meaning of. Apathy.
Ah.
Hey, by the way, I will tell you something, Dan. 100%, it actually saved me a lot of money. The fact that when I lost my rag, I went pure Scottish brogue.
Right.
That meant that the officials couldn't understand me either, because I can assure you, if they had, it would have cost me an awful lot more money. So it was a good thing in the end.
How much did you have to pay in fines, Stevie, during your days? Was it $6,000? Does that still hurt?
I probably paid about that. Something like that. Yeah, I wasn't happy. The wife wasn't particularly happy, put it that way.
Frank and Craig, do you have any stories from nights out together after wins? Frank, would you go and would you socialise with Craig afterwards, or would you leave him to it?
Not too much. You know, the first year, so I was quite injured. So the first year, so I was pretty serious. You know, after the game, I was going back home, and I wasn't going too much outside and socializing with the others. But we had two. In fact, we had two teams in the squad, where the most of the foreign players were living in London, where most of the British players were living outside London. So it was difficult to be reunited.
Yeah, it was. That was the problem when you played. You know, when Stevie was at Liverpool, it was easy. When I was at Celtic in Glasgow, everybody lived probably within 10-15 mile radius of each other, so it's much easier. But London was just, the get-togethers were so infrequent at Chelsea because, you know, it's Frank and a lot of the lads lived in central London, kind of sort of Chelsea, Knightsbridge, that kind of area. And some of the lads lived down in Surrey, which is, you know, sometimes with traffic over an hour's drive south, and I was in the north in Hertfordshire. So, you know, if you did meet up in London, and, you know, there wasn't any Ubers in those days, so it was just difficult. So they were rare. They were rare having nights out. Other clubs, they were quite frequent, but not Chelsea.
Final question to you, Stevie. Who was a better crosser of the ball? Trent Alexander-Arnold, David Beckham, or Craig?
This is Don. This is Don. This is Don that tells this story.
Well, number one, let's be honest. Craig didn't play in a wide position. He played through the pipe. He was there to come in late and get on the end of crosses. So it's basically between Beckham and Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Oh.
I mean,
I didn't think you could treat this seriously, Stevie.
Well, you know how this came about, Stevie?
Well, I'm a very serious person.
You know how this came about, Stevie? Because Don Hutchinson tells a story that when Brownie was playing me wing back for Scotland, and we were playing England in the Euro 2000 playoff, he stood in the dressing room and told everybody I was a better crosser of the ball than David Beckham, and everybody was sniggering and laughing. So
no, he said. In fact, he said everything nice about every players who are supposed to play, and everybody was believing what he was saying until he said that Craig was better crosser than Beckham, and then it was over.
He overstepped the mark.
Even I laughed at that one.
All right, boys.
It's a classic Brown. Classic Brown par.
Good stuff. As always, thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow for more. Until then, goodbye. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.